Hey, hello. This is Tom again. In this video, I'm going to talk about my about 10-year journey from the time that I came to United States up until now. We're going to start with 2016. That's my high school years, essentially. All right. Now, I came to US with no English. I couldn't speak it. I couldn't understand it. Nothing. Of course, no friends. I had no idea about schools, college, SAT, the admissions, the applications, nothing. But I just had this mindset of I need to be successful because I'm an immigrant. If you're watching this and you're an immigrant, you know what I'm talking about, right? You came here all the way from your country and now you got to make something happen. You have that motivation at least, right? Especially. Now, it was very difficult time. I mean, I started high school from ninth grade. That was the first year in high school. I don't know how other high schools do, but technically, I came 2 months before my middle school graduation. After middle school, like 2 months, just for 2 months, I straight away got into high school. And at that point, I didn't really have time to adapt or learn English, nothing. And of course, my classmates, my friends were preparing for SAT, college apps, whatever that might be. Even some students in my local area, like in my school, like my towns, they were preparing for college and everything from middle school. So I was pretty late to the game already, right? And at that point, I just had to work hard. I mean, I didn't necessarily have like one of those fancy studying strategies or whatever. I just had to work hard and just grind it out because I didn't really have enough time and I didn't know what to do because again, I just came here, right? But then again, I didn't want to stay mediocre, right? I just wanted to really get into top universities. I mean, at that point, at that time, it didn't really seem realistic because I was again late, right? Just getting to whatever university in the U.S. that was pretty good, but again, my goal was getting to top universities, just like UCLA, right, or UC Berkeley, one of those good schools out there, right? And again, I didn't want to stay mediocre, and my studying strategy was just working hard, just grinding it out, and just studying a lot. And that's kind of how I spent my high school years, just studying, just grinding it out. Obviously, I was burnt out a lot of times. I had no consistency. I was sacrificing my sleep, my friends, my relationship just to study, just to get the results. Although I did get good grades and I got into UCLA because of that, but it wasn't really a healthy system, right? So that was my high school year, from 2016 to 17 to 2020, basically. All right. And then I get into UCLA, right? Now, just to emphasize one more time, back in high school, I didn't necessarily have those studying skills or strategies. I just grinded out, but I still managed to get good grades. I mean, if you've gone through this similar process, you can probably relate. I got into UCLA as applied math major, but because I was out of state student, right, from all the way from New Jersey to now California, it was completely different environment, surroundings, everything's different. I had no family or friends there. I was just by myself alone, right? Now, the first year was COVID-19, right? Because, all that kind of stuff was going on. I had to stay home. And during that time, probably like many of you, I developed bad habits. Like those typical habits out there: procrastinating, waking up late. I was always saying I can do it later because it's online classes. No one was holding me accountable, obviously. And at that point, I was getting complacent because I didn't have this pressure of like, oh, I need to get into good colleges. I no longer had that, right? I was getting complacent. I'm still early in the college. I don't need to work hard. Grades don't matter. I just have to pass the classes and C's with whatever, right? And at that point, I was failing classes, exams, and everything. And for the first time in my life, I had this GPA of 2.2, which was shocking and which was disappointing in myself and my family, right? And again, I remembered I didn't come to United States, right, just to stay mediocre. I didn't go to UCLA all the way to California, all the way to those big schools like, again, UCLA just to stay mediocre, just to produce poor grades, right? This is the point where I thought I needed to change my life completely and fix my issues. Yes, these are bad habits, but these aren't necessarily about studying in school. These are about my life, right? These are lifetime skills. The fact that you're procrastinating, the fact that you're waking up early, the fact that you're always coming up with excuses, the fact that you're always waiting for the perfect time, they're going to affect negatively on your academics, but also on your life. And that's exactly what I wanted to change. Not just my academics and grades, but my life as a whole, which is actually the main reason why I worked on time management and productivity and habits and routines as opposed to those studying tools or hacks out there or tips out there. I wanted this thing to be more long term rather than just like one time off. Right. That was my first year. I had that realization. I had that realization. I worked on time management, productivity, blah blah blah. Second year comes, it's back in person. Now, I started this 5 a.m. morning routine. I was waking up at around 4:30, 4:45, 5 a.m. And after that, I was doing deep work for a couple hours. This is the year that I actually locked in. Instead of just talking about it, I actually locked in and stayed disciplined. My grades started going up. I started having more free time. Again, that was my main goal, right? I didn't want to just get better grades, just higher grades, but actually, on top of that, I wanted to make sure that I have time for my hobbies, relationships, career, sleep, and family. Because in college, the school is not everything. That is not your end goal. The college, the purpose of it is through college and through learning and everything, you want to build successful career and your life, right? That was the goal. And keep going with this third year, routine set in place. Night routine, sleep routine, workout routine, everything's set in place. I'm still keeping up with good habits, healthy habits like working out, reviewing, journaling, reading the Bible, everything. At that point, my GPA just went up. It skyrocketed from 2.2 to 3.7. And I was on track to graduate in just 3 years. I was taking a few summer classes and I had a few credits coming from high school. I took a couple APs here and there. So I was on track to graduate in just 3 years, which was pretty good for me, right? Now, at that point, because I had already set up those routines and I now had the free time, I even had time to start helping other students, right? Just like yourself, with their time management, productivity, to raise your grades, to become more productive, blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly how I started this whole process, right? Now, again, college isn't the end goal. You want to keep up with these health habits and routines even after. Again, I was looking at the long term. I didn't want like one of those like one time off and next semester you go back to your old habits, still stuck in a rut, procrastinating. No, I wanted to transform my life completely, right? That was basically my school, my college experience, basically, right? And 2023, I graduated again, just 3 years. My parents proud. Basically, I made this big story of failing classes, from failing classes to 3 year graduation, right? This big transformation, essentially. Right. And at that point, I already helped over 100 college students build a time management system to get 3.5 plus GPA while studying less, blah, blah, blah. And now all of this was happening while I was taking 4 or 5 classes per quarter, working out 4 times a week, sleeping 7, 8 hours a day, etc. Now, this is the ultimate school life balance that you want to shoot for, essentially, right? Again, you don't want to study all day long. You don't want to study 24/7. No, you want to study as less and efficiently as possible. This way, you still have time for hobbies. For myself, I'm playing guitar in my church for my worship team. I'm playing baseball. I'm traveling with my family. Blah blah blah. Right? This is the life and the balance that you want to pursue. Not like grinding it out all the time, right? And since graduating in just 3 years, high GPA, all this kind of stuff, like even coming like all the way from high school, that was big accomplishment. Big since I came to the United States, right? So as a accomplishment, as a prize, I just bought myself a sports car, Porsche, right there, right? That was I signed the papers and everything like literally three weeks before the UCLA graduation. Now, I'm not saying this to brag about it or show off anything. No, definitely not, right? But what I'm saying is if you put your mind to something, if you stay consistent for a long enough time, and if you stay disciplined, if you don't give up on your goals, you'll achieve it at some point. Whatever that is, really, whatever. Not necessarily about the car, but if it's your whatever goal, your physique, your career, whatever it is. If you stay consistent, if you put your mind to it, you will achieve it at some point, right? And at that point, I'm upgrading my coaching program, helping more students. I'm still staying disciplined, consistent, blah blah blah. Right now, even after graduation, of course, at that point, I'm not studying anymore, right? I applied the same time management and productivity systems, right? While I was doing my work, my coaching program, blah blah blah. I was going to church again. I'm playing guitar, in my worship team, playing baseball as a catcher, right? I'm spending time with my girlfriend, my family, traveling, sleeping 8 hours a day, still working out 5 times a week, right? Like I said, habits and routines you develop in college, they carry over. Whether those are good habits or bad habits doesn't matter. They carry over to your life and your career. If you were procrastinating all the time, if you're always struggling with motivation issue, if you were not working out back in college, if you weren't eating right back in college, chances are even after, same things happening. You're still waiting for a perfect time, you're still struggling with motivation issue, you're still procrastinating, the same thing's going to happen. Okay. So what I'm saying is what you do in college, right? What you build in college, however you behave or act, speak in college, whatever that is, whatever those little habits you build in college, they carry over to your life, right? Now at this point, it's not just about the studying, right? It's everything. It's your life, it's your career, it's your habits, it's your health, it's your mindset, and that's the big picture that I want you guys to see. Not just getting letter grade, not like getting 90% on an exam and be happy about it, but really making this huge lifetime transformation. And that's exactly what I did and what I do with my students currently, right? Again, still spending time with my friends, traveling, my hobbies, obviously good grades, working out consistently, blah blah blah. Right? This is a life, the life, school life, career, right? The balance that you want, right? Not necessarily just studying all day long, just grinding it out, right? And now all the way to the current right now, 2020, 2025, right? And at this point in this year, right, I've already helped over 450 college students get 3.5 plus GPA and build time in the system while studying less, blah, blah, blah. And still, I'm keeping up with my routines and habits that I built back at UCLA, working out 5 times a week, sleeping 8 hours a day, no more procrastination, journaling every single morning, reading the Bible every single day, daily planning on Google Calendar, blah, 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 right? Again, habits and routines that I built back at UCLA, they have lasted and they will last. Okay. Now, a couple lessons that I want to share with you before I wrap this video up. Okay. Now, aware of the importance of school, life, career balance. Again, I'm saying this time and time again, but school is important, but is not everything. And that's not the end goal. You want to learn through college the lifetime skills, right? That will last and that will help you in life and your career. And if you want to be successful at anything, really, just really anything, you need time management, right? Be careful of the habits you build in college. The chances are you carry them over even after college to your life and your career. Okay. Now, a couple more things. How you do one thing is how you do everything. The reason why I'm saying this is this. This is my pure observation, by the way, for the past couple of years. A lot of people, most people who just got by and who didn't take college seriously, who didn't really work hard to get good grades, they're still struggling after graduation. I've really seen them, right? Not because they have, not because they had poor grades, but because they have poor work ethic. Because poor grades, they come from poor ethic, right? Poor ethic, that means you didn't know how to study hard. You didn't know how to stay consistent. You didn't know how to stay disciplined. You don't know how to stay focused. That's basically it, right? It's a work ethic issue essentially, right? And most of the people, many people who did their best, studied hard, got good grades, good results, they're doing great with their lives and career. They have something going at least, right? They are not procrastinating. They're doing something, right? And with poor ethic, if you have poor ethic, I mean, who wants to work with you really, right? Again, it's not just about the grades. Good grades, that just means that you have good work ethic, right? Which obviously puts above everyone else. Good work ethic is good, right? Because you're producing whatever results, right? Studyings, grades, or whatever that might be. You're doing something. Poor work ethic, procrastinating, you're being lazy, you're being mediocre, right? So that's the big picture that you really want to see here. Okay. Now, next videos, I'm gonna break down each and every one, this timeline more specifically. But yeah, this is my about 10-year journey from 2016 to up until this year, 2025. So yeah, I mean, if you want to work directly with me, and if you're looking to build a system to get 3.5 plus GPA while studying less and while having more free time for your life and your career, go to my Instagram. This is my username, Tom Kims. Just DM me the word system. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll see how we can work this out together, and we'll go from there. Again, stop waiting for a perfect time. There's no perfect timing. It's already November 2025. Time is running out, right? So just do it when you can. Take massive action, get the results, come out the other side successful, like I was able to through college and everything. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side.